continue tomorrow. Yo, it's your host, King Crucial the Great. This is the King Table Podcast. Excuse me. Shit. This is King Crucial the Great, host of the King's Table Podcast. King Chaos is in the building. Yeah, we got yo. Anyways, we go get into it because I got 10% on my phone. Nigga, the law of soul evolution. I'm gonna shoot you the definition right now. So it says, even when it appears you're not evolving, in reality you are progressing. In reality, every failure is a small success. What do you have to add for that?
Well, my friend, you know that I am a humongous advocate of opportunity to redirect towards success. And this law really allows every opportunity, good, bad, success, or failure, to lend towards your uh, final, like, final form, I guess you could say. Soul evolution, the law of soul evolution essentially says that regardless of how big of the step, we must acknowledge every single step is one forward or progression towards the development of self. And so without the law of like self realization is another way I will put it. Um, there is no positive way to really perceive the failures that we experience through life. Now, if we use the this law as a filter to give us the chance to take the failures we've had and experienced and been a part of to remind us that those things still get us closer to our goals, even if they just teach us important lessons. This is a law that will help hold up those who see little hope in the future.
Okay, okay. I like that interpretation. So, what I take from it is pretty much the same thing. It's like each failure is a lesson learned. So ultimately, it's up to you to either repeat that same lesson or, you know, move on. But regardless, there's gonna be growth, even if you just, stay in the moment. And that's why I feel that's probably one of the most important laws because it reminds you that everyone grows, everyone learns things at their own pace. Every journey is different, and each journey has a different time frame. So it's just all about, staying in tune with your present state and present goals and present actions, for me at least. And with that, I'm going to lead us to our curveball. I got a trivia question. What
Yeah.
NFL player, what ex NFL player, I should say, is going to court for basically taking money from the poor, allegedly? Mm,
What?
I give you a hint. It's a quarterback.
Former quarterback stealing from the poor?
Yep.
Man, you got me on that one.
Grab onto your boots. The answer is Brett Favre.
What? Brett?
Brett Favre, number four.
All the names to effing call, bruh.
Guess what state?
Give me a rundown, man.
Mississippi.
Oh God, that's why you said that.
He was hired or paid, I should say, to do a speech that he never showed for. Guess how much he was paid?
Hey,
1.1 million
what kind of speech was he supposed to tell?
to speak to the lower communities of the state.
Mm, mm, mm. Why
Mm,
did he?
it's a damn shame.
Why he didn't show up?
He just didn't show up. He didn't give no excuse, no reason. He told what he did with the money though.
What was that?
Built a volleyball gym for his daughter's school, which was 5 million.
Um,
How the rich stay rich. So yeah,
damn. Um,
give me something.
all right. So basically, I'm throwing off for a couple reasons. First of all, that 1 point whatever million dollars could have benefited those less fortunate people in a way better. There could have been some other way that that $1 million could have been spent to benefit those people.
Then a
Like,
speech from Brett Favre.
right? That's the first thing. Cause I'm not okay. So before we even get mad at Brett, let's try to figure out what relevance. Like, I'm sorry, I've never heard of Brett Favre being a highly motivational speaker. Like, so I don't see where $1 million for him to speak to poor people would be worth anyone's time.
Facts, yo. Facts.
So that's the first problem I have. Secondly, Mississippi paying football players $1 million to speak to poor people.
Mhm.
Now we talking about just kids from tough communities, or are we talking about just a bunch of random people, a part of an organization for less fortunate?
I really hold on. I have to pull up the article or something.
Come on, because this is extremely odd. See, the last curveball, it was so left field that I had tons of fun fielding it. But this was a tad confusing because
Mhm.
we're missing a few pieces of the puzzle here.
Well, it's a whole investigation going on about it, so a
He,
lot of the pieces are going to be missing until it's solved in court. But I thought I should just bring it to the people' attention.
yeah, no, no. Let's. So first, a group of people in Mississippi figured that a football player is going to talk to people. Okay, so based on the organization, we need to determine what type of talk this was. Then, once we figure out what type of talk it was, we're gonna see why it was worth 1.4,
Nah, one.
$1.1 million for him to be the one to get the talk. Now I don't know if it's just because I'm biased, but who currently holds the Lombardi Trophy?
Who won the Super Bowl? I think it was the Chiefs. No, not the Chiefs. The Tom Brady won them.
Won it, Tom? So wouldn't he be a better pick of a quarterback to have a speech? That's just me. I'm just I'm just saying. If somebody's gonna motivate me, could it be the current winner?
Those are facts. Those are the facts.
I love Brett. I'm not taking anything away from
Oh
Brett.
no, it wasn't even Tom Brady, nigga. It was Matt Stafford. Matt Stafford. Tripping.
I mean, I'm gonna sound really crazy. I don't even know who that is.
Don't even worry about
Yeah.
it.
So yeah. So okay. Like I said though, if anybody should be paid $1 million for giving a speech to motivate people, I would really prefer it be this year's winner. Did he get inducted to Hall of Fame this year? That wasn't him, was it? No, I don't think that was him.
No, I thought it was it Drew Brees?
Oh, there you go. So, like I said, again, if somebody is going to get paid $1 million to come holler at me about anything, could he be the current winner of something?
Yeah, I think he is I think he's definitely a Hall of Famer though.
I'm saying, but it's not his year to be inducted.
No, he ain't been inducted no time recently.
Right. It's been some time, so.
Yeah.
But hey, anyhow, now let's go into Brett. So, why don't we have an explanation of why you didn't show up to an event that you got prepaid for?
Right. And that just hits on the integrity of the NFL.
Mm, well, I don't know why. Why would you put that on NFL? That really sounds like a personal appointment.
Cause he's using the same line. He's only known for the NFL.
True.
What you think his pitch is? You think he'll get paid anything near that if he didn't play in the NFL?
Very true. Which kudos to his marketing and or slash booking manager. That's
Big
that's who
kudos to them. Big kudos.
you should really be giving a high five to. Because who the hell?
Right.
Who the hell
Get booked
pays Brett Favre to come and give a speech and then get prepaid $1 million?
prepaid, bro.
Listen, Tony Robbins. Tony Robbins is worth 3 million. I think for a speech. I think his price tag is three. Tony.
Who?
Tony Robbins.
I don't even know who that is.
Yeah, yeah, you do.
Must be old school.
Yeah, no, no, you remember? You know who Tony Robbins is? The guy who hypnotized your boy on Shallow How.
Man, look, you done lost me.
You don't remember Shallow How? The guy who got hypnotized to see ugly women for their personality, and they were like
Oh, okay.
him.
You
The
a
guy,
fool.
the guy on the elevator that made him that way is Tony Robbins.
Yeah.
That guy is a world famous motivational speaker, author. You know what I'm saying?
You
That
know,
he's worked once again. Like I said, that movie is super old, which shows the guy's been in the game for quite a while. That shows the worth of more than $1 million.
I will agree with that statement.
So I'm just saying, so and let's go back to Brett. Okay, what did you say? What did your publicist say to make you worth $1 million? They got to do a webinar on that. That's a good one. That's a good one. That's bananas, man. Prepaid $1 million and then you just don't do it. Then shortly thereafter, A $5 million volleyball gym is
Yeah.
built. But is it 5 million all his money, or is 5 million was him and some other parents? No
Um,
details.
Let me go check it out.
Because that does seem suspect. But if you pay me $1 million and then buy something for 5 mil, um, shit, that means I still got your $1 million in the bank somewhere. That million didn't make me.
Right. He been had those. He made over 100 million in the NFL. That's a fact.
Yeah, so I'm saying, I mean, so was there one? Okay, just like I said on the Aries, was there a discussion before the lawsuit, or did somebody say, "Oh, Brett Favre, he bucked us, so lawsuit off the dribble. We're not going to ask for explanation. We're not going to reach out. We're not going." I mean, although Brett Favre is kind of, for
So
not.
it's the Brett Favre welfare scandal shows that former QB's image is a fraud too.
What image?
Brett Favre's.
Right, but I'm saying what image? Like he plays fucking football.
Right.
I can't even tell you anything about his personality. Tom Brady, I can't really tell you a whole lot about his personality. You know whose personality I can tell you about?
Who?
Who's doing the goddamn the insurance commercials? The famous Colt turned Bronco?
Oh, Russell Wilson.
No man. White dude just retired a couple years ago.
Peyton Man.
Um Peyton.
Yeah, yeah. You tripping.
Okay, Peyton. I would pay Peyton Man $1 million to come holler at me. I would pay Tim Tebow $1 million to come and talk to me.
Tim Tebow.
Yeah. Tim Tebow has more time speaking about being a Christian athlete than a lot of other athletes.
Ooh, now this was an interesting take. I'm reading slate.com. uh their head title is how Brett Favre and the state of Mississippi trapped a volleyball stadium in the culture of poverty.
Mm. Mm. Ooh.
It's
Ooh.
a Hall of Fame football player Brett Favre is in the news having allegedly used welfare money to build a volleyball stadium for his daughter in Mississippi.
Ooh. See how they worded it? Just because you paid me $1 million doesn't mean I use that $1 million to do what else I did. I got more than that.
He says Favre, an alumnus of University of Southern Mississippi, played quarterback in the NFL for Green Bay Packers for many years. He also played for the Minnesota Vikings and the New York Jets. Made a cameo appearance of himself in the film There Is Something About Mary Doran. Ben Stiller's character pronounces his name wrong. Funny scene, whatever. He said, I recall something controversial involving Favre happened on the Jets. AJ Durilio of the site Deadspin reported in 2010 that sports TV media personality named Jen Sturger had told him that someone who she believed to be Brett Favre left her lewd voicemails on her photos and sent her photos of his penis during a period when she was working for the Jets. Shit, Jet. Shit, Brett.
Once again, $1 million to come speak to motivate poor people.
Hold on, it's not over, bro. That's not it. It says Favre is married. Deadspin then published the voicemail and pictures, which is said that he had obtained from a third party. Sturgill went on a corporate NFL investigation into the matter and vouched for the authenticity of the images through an attorney. The league concluded that it could not determine whether Favre had sent them, but fined him $50,000 for cooperating with its inquiry.
What?
Yeah.
$1 million to speak to poor people. Prepaid.
Furthermore, it goes on to say in the early 2020, following an investigation by Mississippi State Auditor Shad White, the district attorney in Jackson, the state's capital, charged 6 people with crimes involving a nonprofit called the Mississippi Community Education Center. The organization was ran by a politically well-connected woman named Nancy New. It had been put in charge of distributing tens of millions of dollars in federal funds to the temporary agency
What was
for
her
need
name?
for
N
needy
E.
family program. What happened?
What was her last name? NEWT.
No, just NEW.
Hmm.
Nancy. It
Hmm.
says what White's investigation alleged was that the new and her nonprofit had actually used the money to benefit other well-connected figures in the state like Brett Favre. This happened during Governor Phil Bryant's administration, which is important to know for later. Oh shit, they dug deep. Yeah, this site did their work, bro. Shout out to them again, Slate.com. This is where I'm reading the article from. And it goes on to say, why was this money ever in the hands of a middleman organization in the first place? Question mark. I thought welfare meant that if you have an income below a certain level, you get a certain amount of money each month directly from the government. Those facts now, he says that's what it still means in some places, but the 1996 welfare bill that Bill Clinton, damn, that's a tongue twister. The 1996 welfare bill that Bill Clinton campaigned for and signed into law replaced a more direct structured system with block grants or federal disbursements that states have broad flexibility to use to reduce poverty as they see fit. Whoa. The Center on Budget and Policy Priorities summarizes the allowable uses of the grants. So basically, Bill Clinton made it so it is a third party involved with, the disbursements of government funds and this and that. Anything you want to add?
Man. Well, yeah, I would like to say that I still haven't found a reason why this person was worth $1 million prepaid when we have so much backstory that confirms that he's probably not worth 20 grand.
I could agree with that. But now I'm going to read this last passage and then I'll be done. Well, last two passages. It says, so it was not legally fishy per se. The Mississippi sent the money to a nonprofit. Right. What's an issue is that the Mississippi Community Education Center went and spent that money, for example, a new volleyball stadium at Southern Mississippi, where Brett Favre's daughter played the sport. It also gave $2 million plus to a Florida medical startup in which Brett Favre had a stake that said it was developing nasal spray that could limit damage by causing concussions. Caused by concussions, I'm sorry. and Favre was given 1.1 million personally for what the organization's documentation says was a commitment to deliver speeches on its behalf that was never fulfilled. The nonprofit also made other questionable expenses, of which the most egregious was perhaps the $160,000 that state authorities say for it paid for 4 months. Damn. The WWE wrestler Brett DiBiase, I don't know who that is, the son of Ted the $1 Million Man, spent at a luxury drug rehabilitation center in Malibu.
Oh,
Uh,
that's ugly.
Far for his part paid the 1.1 million back and says that he thought the money was for cutting radio ads that he actually did record. He also says he wasn't aware of any money that was directed to Previcus or the volleyball center was meant to be used to reduce poverty. I don't know how that would be. Okay. And Favre's telling he was just using contracts and government to find funding for projects that would benefit the state. It said it planned to create local jobs by manufacturing and conducting trials of its drug in Mississippi. Wow. Mm-mm-mm. You've been busy, Mr. Brett Favre.
Now, like I said, man, his business manager, assistant, whoever it is that's pulling the money strings, he's too busy being rich. He's not really, directly involved with all the money. This just backfired and then got caught up. Bet you if we look deep enough, we see somebody of some sort of influence within the circle that has recently been fired or demoted. Brett Favre seems like a lot of things, but I don't really see him getting tangled up in something so complicated with a sport as a career.
It says the text also showed that Favre had at least a vague sense that it would be
Ooh.
if other people didn't know he and knew and Bryant were what he knew and Bryant were doing. Damn, that name keep throwing me off. He says, wrote the former quarterback and wrote the former quarterback to New, the district attorney. I'm guessing that's what they're talking about. In 2017, if you were to pay me, is there any way the media can find out where it came from and how much? She told him no. Wrong. Mississippi Today is also reported in April on text between Bryant and the doctor behind Prevacor, in which Bryant appeared to accept an offer of stock in the company just 2 days after he left the governorship in 2018. Bryant, in an interview with the publication, says he did not understand at the time that he was being offered equity in Prevacor, and that in general he was often so busy he didn't register the content of messages people sent when they wanted something from him. Wow.
When they say vague evidence that he kind of knew what was going on or whatever, they basically saying that, hey man, we're gonna get some extra money with these folks over here. You know what I'm saying? And if you want to know what's up, I'll explain it. But oh shit, it ain't no big deal. Keep going.
That was basically it. They would pay pretty much asking like, "Hey, anybody gonna find out you gave me these bands or not?"
I don't care
Like
what y'all do. Just do it and let me get this money.
at that point, you knew you were guilty of something you had no business, if you ask me.
Right. It's almost a mission. That's a mission to guilt when you ask a question like that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Then the other dude gonna talk about some. He didn't know. Oh, he thought he was just, he was often so busy. He just Didn't know he didn't read all the content of the messages. He just scamped them. Boy, he be playing them games, boy. Meanwhile, money that was supposed to be going into a certain community never get made though. What kind of jobs a volleyball stadium gonna offer? That's what I want to know.
I want to know how much volleyball y'all motherfuckers plan on playing. I don't never hear about that much volleyball being played anywhere.
Volleyball they play in Mississippi.
I mean, shit. Tell us down in the comments how big volleyball is in Mississippi.
In fact, because I mean, bro,
Is volleyball stadiums like a new wave for athletic, like arenas and venues? Like I don't know. Like
oh, I
I don't
think I know about it being in Florida. Which, speaking of, he also donated money to a startup here in Florida.
medical startup. Now is
Yeah,
he doing vaccines or
it said
you know?
a nasal spray.
Oh yeah, the nasal spray for concussions. Right.
Yeah,
Right. Okay. Which is football relevant.
definitely.
Which which would definitely benefit football players across the board. Hopefully across the board.
Nah, facts though. Yeah, that's also. But I mean, the funds came from Mississippi though. I don't really think that matter in business though.
I mean, I don't either, but at the same time, I'm trying to figure out now. So the nonprofit is who is suing him, not the state of Mississippi.
It's a civil.
Is who?
It just says it's a civil suit. It says, is Brett Favre in trouble himself? He's named in the state civil suit. His attorney dispute the allegations made there, and he has not been charged with any crime. Is there anything else that Mississippi could have been spending public funds on during this time period besides volleyball? Or was Southern Miss's volleyball team probably the number one issue, all told? The city of Jackson announced in July that its water wasn't safe to drink unless it was boiled first. An advisory that was in place for 7 weeks until Thursday, in fact. Damn, that shit just ended. For a week that began in late August, the city's water system actually stopped working entirely. Mississippi has also the country's lowest life expectancy and the highest rate of fetal mortality. Damn.
Well, I believe all that.
It says last question was would those numbers improve if the state spent even less money on welfare, thus attacking culture dependency even more aggressively? Yes, the volleyball should continue until life expectancy improves.
Oh, they tripping.
Oh wow. You know what?
They tripping. They had to throw that in there. They were probably really annoyed writing the article.
Right? Bro, volleyball. Volleyball.
I mean, maybe to make it more attractive to lower income children.
Volleyball, my nigga. What nigga you know from the hood gonna be like, yo, man, I'm gonna get up out here, bitch, and play me some volleyball, nigga.
I
Uh,
mean, we've had a few to escape through, cheer, and we always get the few to escape through band, and
but I mean, bro, this is Brett Favre, dog. Like, if it was like a football stadium, okay. Football list, okay.
I mean,
Nigga,
he wanted to be a part of something that he could
what happened?
see his. He wanted to be a part of something that he could see his own legacy for his own children. And I guess she said she ain't gonna be the first WNFL superstar. Maybe she's okay with volleyball through college to get her degree to go do something normal.
So, I ask you, are you okay with it?
No, I'm not okay with how the story is displayed. I'm not happy with how the multiple layers of suspicion are now laid upon the football player who was a very small part of a large um, money scheme. Basically, because he is the easiest target.
Yeah, that's foul. I'm gonna just leave it on that note. And with that, this has been the King's Table Podcast. I'm your host, King Crucial the Great, King Chaos in the building. If you
Yeah,
already, go and check out my latest single, Regardless, streaming on all platforms. Yeah, do that.
got an announcement, man.
And as always, think with greatness.